Marty Sakala, Rock Sports Network, Race Pro Weekly. Junior, I guess I'll ask first, what was your perspective in your position in the tower of that finish? That was insane.
It was. I was over in the perch in the bus stop, just past the bus stop, but I knew it. I called it on the radio style. I said, there's going to be contact, and I mean, a second later they hit. I didn't think they both were going to spin, but I knew that William was in a bad position, being kind of on the outside of that switchback. They weren't going to get through there side by side. I know they'd go in there that way, but not finish it off. And it opened the door for Larson, and then he ran some great laps at the end. So just I just hustled down here because I wanted to get a picture with him in victory lane. What an honor it is for our team to have the opportunity to put him behind the wheel, and one of the greatest drivers in motorsports today. And so it's a big day for our company. We get to work with a lot of talented drivers and a lot of veterans over the years. Tony Stewart and Murray and several drivers have driven our cars. So it's always fun when you get a chance to work with a Cup guy. But a driver of his caliber, man, it's special. So great to be able to check a box that otherwise, might not ever happen. So very, very fortunate.
9 JRM wins this season. What can you say about your team, perhaps the best in the Xfinity Series?
It doesn't last forever. Enjoy while it's going on. Somebody else will be doing this in a very short period of time. Could be as early as the playoffs or next year. Not many teams stay on top for very long. There's a lot of very tight quarters in the garages. Not a lot of secrets stay secrets for too long. So we're real happy with the performance. We're working real hard, and we're going to try to keep going. But like I say, you don't stay up on top for too long around this sport.
Thanks, Neil.
We're going to go left to Dustin and then over here to Zach in the middle.
Dustin Albino, JC.com, down to your left. Hi. Ninth win, like what Marty said, ties the record for the most for your team in a single season, 2014. What's that mean on a personal level?
Just a lot of pride to be able to have a team that's successful. We worked real hard to get to this point, and I remember all of the years where we weren't successful. We were working hard to finish in the top 10, and running 5th to 10th every single week. Just didn't have any of the speed that some of the other teams had. So there was some long, lean years there that was part of the journey. But so we'll definitely celebrate and enjoy this while it's happening, because we've been on both sides of it. And just like I say, you want to keep it going as long as you can. And with how difficult the landscape is in the sport, especially in the Xfinity Series, we have conversations, text messages, phone conversations every single day about how challenging the business model is, and so we're going to try to keep it going like we got it. But you're not promised anything in this sport. You're not promised any of this success going forward, so you got to enjoy it.
We'll go to Zach and then Nicole.
Zach Sterning on the NASCAR.com. Dale, you touched on this quite a bit actually with just how special it is to have Kyle Larson behind the wheel, but you got a veteran like Justin Allgaier on the team who can provide that great feedback for Jason and that whole crew, and that benefits the team. But what kind of feedback specifically can a guy like Larson come in? We saw what he was able to do on the road courses last year in the Cup Series. What kind of feedback can he give that can really benefit this program going forward?
That's great. That's a good question. He's just you're going to believe everything he says. That's the first thing. And you want an opportunity to work with guys like that, because they can tell you some new information. Our group of drivers and our employees all spend so much time around each other that we sort of all are, keep hearing, you keep hearing the same song so many times, and you stop listening quite as closely maybe, and a lot of times, the drivers are saying, so I'm still fighting this, and you get a guy like Larson or Byron or somebody to come drive your car, and they may tell you the issue, but in a different language, and explain it differently, open up some new ideas and some new ways of maybe tackling the issue, or they may talk about some of the things that they've done with their cars to help your car. It's so awesome to have an opportunity to work with veterans, no matter who it is, because they're going to be honest. They're going to run the car a handful of times. they got nothing to lose. They got no reason to hold back, in their criticism or their opinions of the equipment, and it's really helpful. So, I think our guys really lean into it when we get the chance to work with some of the veterans.
We'll go to Cole and then to Michael over here.
Cole Kusaman with the Arizona Republic. Congrats, Dale. This was another top 5 day for Noah at a track he historically has struggled at. What can you say about his progression as a driver and a person throughout his career at Junior Motorsports?
Yeah, he's he's a roller coaster, that's for sure. And I would say that he's made some big gains over where he was earlier this year. I was listening to him on the broadcast today, and just his whole demeanor, personality, and everything seems to be much improved over where we were with a couple months ago. And so it's tough to live life with such lows and such high peaks. But there's people that are just built that way, and that's going to be who he is going forward. And I think that that's going to be part of the journey for him. Is the lows will be low and the highs will be really high. And but he'll get in these positions where he'll find some stability, right, and some positivity in his life, and that seems to be where we are now. And we hope we can maintain that. He's really excited about his future, obviously, and that's got him pumped up and excited about going cup racing next year. And those type of, even though that's something that he can look forward to, it's not a distraction, And I think in his situation, it's a good thing going on in his life that'll support a positive attitude during a work weekend like we have this weekend at Watkins Glen. So I expect it to be a plus for us as we try to win the championship this year.
We'll go to Michael.
Yes, Michael Finley, Frontstretch.com. So, as has been mentioned, JOM has won 9 races this year. None of them have been by the number 1 car. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Sam's development. Yeah,
Sam's development is going to be rocky at times, and we ourselves internally see the speed and the pace and the talent. And he's so young, and I think that if we are allowed to give him the time and the runway, that he'll figure it out. And so I really like Sam a lot. He does listen and absorb, and he wants to do as good as he possibly can. I'm excited we're going to be able to continue that process with him going forward. And so we just need the runway to be long enough, and that's no different than any other driver. You just hope you get to be able to give them the time and the car to be able to get going. He'll figure it out and be able to put the races together. You see with all these guys, look at Creed, like his second half of the year versus the first half. And he's great in the trucks. But you get in the Xfinity car and have a hard time really like putting it together, and you're banging up fenders and quarter panels, and that's gonna come and go with Sam. But eventually, he'll get the confidence. He'll start to understand when to push, when not to push, when to take the risks, when not to take the risks. A lot of times it's not even in his control, what happens out on the racetrack. But I believe in him, and I think that, when I watched him way back when we raced late models, and he would take it to Josh Berry, who I thought was one of the best in the late model stock division for 10 years. And he was one of the few guys that came through our late model stock program that could run with Josh and push Josh and beat Josh. And so, and we see a glimpse every once in a while in our Xfinity car what he can be.
Any other? We'll go right down here to Zach.
I feel like we'd be remiss if I didn't ask about the 9-car plans for 2023. Have there been any discussions at this point for what the future of that program looks like?
Yeah, we're deep into some great opportunities to build that car next year. I can't wait to be able to announce whatever that is. But from what I'm hearing, we've got some exciting prospects and programs that could potentially be in the 9-car next year. So, we'll see how, Kelly and them will figure that all out. And the great thing is there are a lot of ways that could go, as opposed to in years past, sort of having to chase down opportunities or piece together multiple drivers into one car. When a driver moves on, it does create a void, and sometimes that void isn't easily filled But it looks like this year that there's multiple opportunities that could be in play for the 9 car, and that's a good thing.
Thank you.
Are there any final questions for Dale? Bob?
Harper Stock Sports. You're going to get back in a car
Yeah.
in about 10 days, so I'm just curious, do you think you'll be as nervous for that, for the cars race versus like, it sounds like you get for the Xfinity races?
Yeah, I don't think I'll be that nervous about just driving or running well. I just want to finish all the laps. I'll be really, really nervous that I'm going to get wrecked out, or I'll wreck the car, or not finish the race. Just finishing the race is really my only hope and objective. And my heart really is my heart is in that series and that type of car, so I'm super pumped about it. Really, really excited about it. Love the Sundrop connection and the history with the design, and I'm looking forward to that. And I've wanted to drive the late model car for a really long time, and just haven't had the guts to do it. And so I don't know if I can make that make sense, but I've been too scared to do it. And I've had opportunities. I got Carter's right, and got weeks off, and just haven't went and done it because you don't want to get beat, or you don't want to get embarrassed, or you might not run well. But I think like Chase Elliott and those guys going and doing things outside of their comfort zone, and knowing that they might not do that well, has really been helpful for me to watch Bowman and those guys go run, and knowing that they're gonna not be on the top of the sheet. Is helpful for me, because I'll probably have a hard time being ultra competitive, but hopefully we'll run well. But when you think, people just, I don't know, I've always thought that people would say, oh well, when he comes, he should win. He's an old Cup guy, or got great equipment, why you should win. And if you don't, you're afraid of getting ridiculed or criticized for it. But I'm gonna go have fun. I think I'm old enough now that I can just blame being old if I don't run well. So, but I hope that after this race, I'll have enough fun that I want to do a few more next year. I really love the late model series and running the local track and showing up on a Friday or Saturday night somewhere around the house would be a lot of fun.
And can I ask one more?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then just give the mic to Jeff.
Okay. I assume you're probably in contact with Kurt Busch,
Yeah.
and I don't want you to give us anything you don't feel comfortable telling us, but we're all sitting here, okay, which race should he come back and stuff, and are we out of line in speculating and trying to figure this out?
No.
And asking from your experience, knowing that there's not a set timetable.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that it's out of line to have those conversations and speculate, and I think you guys do a great job at sort of trying to shape frame the possibilities, right? Because it does have implications on points and so forth, and there's a lot more to it than just Kurt's health, right? It affects so many other things going forward. But I think the similarities between my situation in 16 and his are very similar. There's just no known time when this thing's going to come together for him. He could wake up tomorrow and be completely, a big giant step further, closer to 100%, or it could take time. You just don't know. One day you wake up and the wires are back together, and it doesn't make any sense. But so I guess the only thing I would do is just caution everybody that there is no way to know, and he can't and won't come back until he's 100%. There won't be it's not a situation where he can try to come in and rough it out being 80 or 90%. He's got to, and the other thing too, I think is important to make sure that the public knows that the doctor's making this choice for him. He's left it in their hands now. It's not, Kurt's not the one sitting there going, I don't think I'm okay. It's really going to be somebody else's choice.
I don't want to quick one for you.
Damn winners in the room, man.
This isn't that I was going to see what you thought of Raikkonen. He was P20 in practice and P27 in qualifying. What did you think of that?
I actually was watching Denny's tweet about how impressed he was, and I think that says it for me. I really, didn't know what to expect out of him don't know what's good or what ain't good, but if, you know, a guy that drives the cars knows how difficult those cars are to drive and how treacherous they are, for Denny to have that opinion about his performance in practice says enough for me. So I'm sold, as impressed. You know, I think, you know, to show up and not have raced, these guys, this is the elite group of stock car racers in the country and the world. And he came out here and dropped right in the middle of them, and I think he'll just get better and better as the race goes.
Jared Haas with Frontstretch.com. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, check one of those 2 videos out that we have right beside you. Visit Frontstretch.com for more great content.